Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. After Boniface Mwangi had been arrested against anti-terror law, protest in the Republic of Kenya, Akisa Wandera, the BBC reporter, is now exposing the UDA administration as they now demand answers, exposing why the government in the Republic of Kenya now arresting protesters and mounting law against anti-terror protest or attack.
Kenya's recent anti-government protests have led to a wave of arrests. But what's really raising eyebrows is how anti-terror laws are now being used against some of these protesters. Now, most of those arrested are young people. Some are now charged under Kenya's Prevention of Terrorism Act, a law passed in 2012 to combat extremist threats like the Al-Shabaab. Offences committed under the law target those who provide terror training, financing, recruitment, and carry out attacks. Yet, some protesters are being charged under this same law, triggering public outrage. One of the most high-profile cases is that of activist Boniface Mwangi, who was arrested and accused of facilitating terrorism. Though those charges were later dropped, he still faces a separate charge for illegal possession of ammunition, which he denies. Now, under the Act, authorities can detain suspects for up to 90 days without formal charges. Some offences carry penalties of up to 30 years in prison or even a life sentence. Over 70 people have been arrested under anti-terror laws in connection with the protests, a move rights groups say is a misuse of the legislation to suppress dissent. Now, the government argues that their investigations show the attacks on public officers and security forces were not spontaneous protests, but planned acts of violence to cripple government operations.
Subscribe to this YouTube. I want to say thank you for such a great support. If you are a first-time viewer watching me in this broadcast, I request you kindly do me a favor. Take a 1 second, click that notification bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like my videos, share them to your friends, family and relatives. I think Boniface Mwangi is exposing the UDA administration. The activist is no longer hiding things. Well, each and every person in this country has a right to demonstrate. But sometimes the police officers always goes rogue and even intimidate the demonstrators. The issue of using live bullet is not allowed. The issue of mass killing is not allowed. The issue of illegal arrest or abduction is not allowed. They are only intimidating the protesters. But when a politician try to at least say something, they don't even arrest that person. They don't even caution that person. So it means that there is no law governing the protesters. And I think up to this moment, the BBC is now exposing the government. The BBC seems to tell the UDA administration that enough is enough. Enough is enough on illegal arrest. Enough is enough on abduction. Enough is enough on whatever you are doing, everything you are doing which is against the constitution. And that is what seems to happen here. Now, I like this movement. When the BBC the other day exposed the documentary What Happened 2024, today they are still exposing this administration. It means that there might be some international external forces which might block William Ruto's presidency 2027. And if he's not keen, he might not even get that presidency, because there is someone somewhere who has been ordained, who has been given that power through even God to rule this country, because Ruto's administration is no longer serious. Its administration is intimidating Kenyans, is just doing things which are not even acceptable in our constitution. And that is why BBC now finalizing this and confirming to him that he has failed, he has sunk, and Kenyans are no longer having interest in him. Could this be the reason why people demonstrating and police officers, instead of helping and finding solution, coming up with a solution, they are just coming, giving the update that so and so was arrested because of terror attack, because of this and that. That is what they even said on Boniface Mwangi. And so far, there is no, in fact, they released him on, I think, some 1 million cash or bond. Even James Agri Orengo went against this and questioned the government that they are heading into a wrong direction. So those who are in UDA are angry. They don't even have that leadership skills, leadership knowledge on how to rectify the mistakes they are doing. When Kenyans issuing their grievances in public, they ought to understand that these people have that right. There is right and freedom of expression. When someone is oppressed, he or she has that right. After all is vanity. Why should we intimidate the Kenyans? Why should we intimidate one another? In fact, it should be a lesson we ought to learn, all of us, in a victory. Today, if I become the head of state, then I ought not to intimidate someone. I ought not to give illegal arrest on someone. And finally, Ruto's administration should understand that this generation will disturb him and must disturb not only him, any person who will be in power. They will not only disturb you if you perform your duties, if you listen to them and even work diligently. In this life, you must also understand someone and mind your own business. I think that message is very much clear, and it is a kind of political understanding for all of us must now come to conclusion and reject all this political motion. So far, we want to thank the BBC for such a great support and exposing the UDA administration. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your take? I rest my case at this point, and thank you so much.